More mass firings of the federal workforce are coming. And at a town hall in a Virginia purple district this week, anxious federal workers told their stories and demanded action from their leaders.
Having served my country both in the military and afterwards, to be said that I'm being terminated for performance issues, which is utterly untrue, just cut me to the quick.
We are hemorrhaging talent. Probationary does not mean just a year. We have lost people for 20 years of service, 15 years of service, people who are veterans.
She loves efficiency. She loves finding ways to make things work faster and better. She has done it to help her coworkers, and ultimately that helps the American people. That's who these people fired: dedicated, efficient, capable people.
Join me now, the Democratic Congressman from Virginia who held that town hall, Subramanyam. Welcome. I know you are a member of the House Oversight Committee, so let's get into the heart-wrenching personal stories from your district, where there are many federal workers. What did you hear from your constituents overall?
Yeah, I heard a couple of things. First of all, this is obviously a difficult time. I mean, these are folks who, many of them are veterans, especially veterans with disabilities. Many of them, they took less money to work in the public sector to serve their country. And then some of them, they had good performance reviews. They did nothing wrong, and they actually do things to keep us safe, keep us healthy as a country. And they're just being axed overnight by this Doge crew and with no reason. I think it's also going to hurt all Americans, not just federal workers, because the work they do. I mean, many of them told me that they're more concerned about the work that they do than even their own jobs, because it's so critical to our country. I mean, we're talking about people who, USDA who do research on crop disease, that could, wipe out crops across the Midwest. I mean, these are people that, do incredible work for our community. They do it, for less money than they would in the private sector, and they just care about our country. They don't care who's the president, really. So that's really difficult. And, hearing all these stories, we're trying to give them a voice. That's why we have these town halls and we try to share their stories. I speak on the House floor every day because we want to make sure people know.
So they're asking you to do that, I presume, and other things. But do you feel like you have power as a lawmaker to push back against the Trump administration's cuts?
Yeah, we are not powerless. And, some folks have reached out feeling helpless. And I've told them, you have a real voice here. Certainly there's litigation happening, and we've had a lot of successes there. But even outside of the litigation part of it, I'm part of a litigation task force. But we also, by sharing the stories of what's happening at the agencies, some of my constituents have become whistleblowers. And they've also gotten some of these Doge folks to walk back some of their actions, walk back firings, walk back some of their moves here by just publicizing what's happening. I mean, in the end, the court of public opinion is just as important, if not more important, than a court of law right now. So yes, this is illegal. We're winning in court, but we're also going to win in the court of public opinion the more people speak out. So that's what I've told people, and I see it as my job to give people that voice.
So I want to dig into the law here, because the Office of Personnel Management is sending out more emails demanding federal workers list their accomplishments last week. You're a lawyer. Does this directive seem legal to you? Because government workers are worried they could lose their jobs whether or not they respond.
Yeah, every, agency has their own protocols, but, I would say that these emails, I've told people to just ignore them. Last time they tried to do it, they ended up walking it back because it was so unpopular, even among Republicans, even among the administration. And so, there's no reason. I mean, what does an air traffic controller say about the things they did last week? They're like, we didn't have any plane crash at my airport. Like, these are ridiculous things. Some of the, if you work at the FBI, you don't even want to share, some of the classified things you see on email. And so it's just demeaning. It's meant to try to break people's spirit. But I've told people just, keep doing the work that you do. And, I'll do everything I can to push back on what's happening.
Then you have hundreds of employees at NOAA and the National Weather Service who were fired this past week. And the Trump administration claims none of those roles were considered critical. But as a member of the Committee on Science, Space and Technology, what do you see as the impacts on these and other cuts to scientific efforts and research?
Yeah, one of the maybe underreported aspects of this whole DOGE program is the war on science and technology. I mean, you've got cuts at NIH, NSF, people being fired across the board there, and now you've got this. NOAA, makes sure that our weather is accurate, and this is information that farmers and fishermen and airlines rely on, and even warning people about tornadoes and hurricanes. We need really good, accurate data, and NOAA provides it. And I think what they want to do is privatize weather information. So talk about they're supposed to lower costs. Think about having to pay for weather information now moving forward. I think that's going to raise costs across the board. But this is just one example of an unnecessary attack on science that's going to make us less competitive in the global stage.
Virginia Democratic Congressman Subramanyam, thank you so much for your candor and for talking with us. Appreciate that.
Thank you.